She had already conquered an Olympic champion, a defending champion, and a four-time Grand Slam winner, but now a legend has come to watch her in person. Billie Jean King, the 39-time Grand Slam champion who changed tennis forever, has just arrived at the Canadian Open to witness the Eala phenomenon firsthand. The 82-year-old icon had already called Eala such an inspiration and told her to keep going for it after her Wimbledon breakthrough. Now, she's flown to Toronto to watch the Filipina sensation compete, and the tennis world is asking, is this the ultimate passing of the torch? What does the greatest champion of her generation see in Alex Eala? The Sobe Stadium crowd was already electric. Thousands of Filipino fans had packed the 10,077-seat arena, waving Philippine flags and chanting Eala's name. Then, a murmur rippled through the stands. Billie Jean King was in the building. The 39-time Grand Slam champion, the woman who had changed tennis forever with her fight for equal prize money and her landmark victory over Bobby Riggs in the 1973 Battle of the Sexes, had flown to Toronto to witness the Eala phenomenon firsthand. At 82 years old, the legendary pioneer of women's tennis had traveled across the continent to watch a 21-year-old from Quezon City compete. The tennis world immediately began asking, why? King had already been following Eala's journey closely. Just weeks earlier at Wimbledon, she had witnessed the Filipinas' stunning victory over defending champion Iga Swiatek on center court. After the match, King had spent time with Eala, posting a photo of their meeting with the caption, "What a treat to spend some time with Alex Eala, fresh off her historic win at Wimbledon today. She is the first Filipino to reach the round of 16. Such an inspiration for kids in the Philippines and all over the world. Keep going for it, Alex." But that was in London. Toronto was something else entirely. King's presence at the Canadian Open signaled something deeper than just casual interest. The 39-time Grand Slam champion, who won 12 singles titles, 16 doubles titles, and 11 mixed double crowns, doesn't travel to WTA 1000 events on a whim. Her arrival in Toronto was a statement. Alex Eala was no longer just a rising star, she was the future of the sport. "She's so grounded for her age, and she's so thankful she has such gratitude already at a young age," King had said during the BBC's Wimbledon coverage, revealing the personal connection she had forged with the Filipina. "We had a great chat because we both grew up with our brothers. And I had a younger brother who played 12 years of professional baseball, and she's such close friends with her brother, and that's what it was for me too, so we kind of hit it off there." That bond was rooted in something far deeper than tennis. King had also observed Eala's fighting spirit during her Wimbledon run. "Been watching her for a few years now," the legend had said. "Her concentration, today, she was so poised." And when she spoke about Eala's impact, her words carried the weight of someone who had witnessed the transformative power of sport firsthand. "It's something that's just so big for the Philippines. I am so happy for her and the country." Now, at the Canadian Open, King's presence sent a message to the entire tennis establishment. The legend, who had spent decades fighting for equality and opportunity, was witnessing the emergence of a player who was inspiring millions of new fans and uniting a nation in the process. As Andy Roddick had observed, Eala was literally carrying hundreds of millions of fans to our sport, and Billie Jean King was there to see it. What would you do if the greatest pioneer in your sport traveled across the world just to watch you play? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would take a deep breath, step onto the court, and keep fighting. Because she knew that when Billie Jean King shows up, you don't just play for yourself. You play for everyone who has ever dared to dream. On paper, Linda Noskova was supposed to win. The 21-year-old Czech was the reigning Wimbledon champion, riding the momentum of her first Grand Slam AM title and looking to build on her stunning run through the All England club just weeks earlier. But Caddy McNally didn't read the script. The 24-year-old American, ranked number 70 in the world, had just pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. She stunned the 6th seed 765-61 in a match that showcased resilience, determination, and the kind of mental fortitude that makes players dangerous. And now, she was standing between Alex Eala and a spot in the fourth round of the $7.43 million WTA 1000 event. What made the upset even more remarkable was how it happened. Noskova had started the match in dominant form, racing to a 5-1 lead in the first set. She had 2 set points. She was in complete control. But McNally refused to go away. She broke Noskova twice to level the score at 5-5. Then, in the tiebreaker, She won 4 of Noskova's 6 service points to take the opening set. The second set was a collapse of epic proportions for the Wimbledon champion. Noskova's game completely fell apart. She managed to win just 1 game in the second set, putting only 32% of her first serves in and losing 33 of 51 points overall. McNally cruised to a 6-1 victory, advancing to the third round in just over an hour and a half. "It's never easy playing anyone, but especially a Wimbledon champion," McNally said in her on-court interview. "And she's really dangerous, so I had to just focus on my side of the net. Even at the end she's gonna go out swinging. Just trying to do what I do best." The victory marked McNally's second career win over a top 10 opponent and her 22nd WTA level victory of the season, already a career high. She had also taken down Tatiana Maria in the first round, 6-4, 6-7-4-6-1. Now she was facing a different kind of challenge. "I'm expecting a full crowd and every single person cheering for her and my little team cheering for me," McNally said, embracing the hostile environment awaiting her on center court. "But it's going to be a great experience no matter what." For Eala, the challenge was equally significant. McNally had reached a career-high ranking of number 50 last June and had already won 2 WTA 125 titles, just like Eala. She had reached the second round of the Australian Open twice, the second round of the French Open this year, and the second round of Wimbledon. Her best Grand Slam outing came at the 2020 U.S. Open, where she reached the third round. The two had never faced each other on the professional tour. Their styles were completely different. McNally was a crafty, all-court player with a strong net game, while Eala was a consistent, left-handed baseliner who relied on patience and precision. But for Eala, the mindset was the same as it had always been. She had already conquered an Olympic champion, a defending WTA 500 title holder, a 4-time Grand Slam winner, and the world number 3 in the span of a single week. Now, she faced a dangerous American who had just done the unthinkable. The tennis world was watching, and the Filipino community in Toronto was ready to turn center court into a homecoming once again. The hallway at the All England Club had been quiet, but the moment Billie Jean King embraced Alex Eala, the silence was broken by the weight of history. 2 generations, 1 sport, 1 mission. For King, the encounter with Eala was more than just a congratulatory moment, it was a passing of the torch. The 39-time Grand Slam champion, who had spent her entire career fighting for equality and opportunity, saw something in the 21-year-old Filipina that reminded her of herself. The same fire, the same determination, the same refusal to be defined by anyone else's expectations. She's so grounded for her age, and she's so thankful she has such gratitude already at a young age, King said during the BBC's Wimbledon coverage, revealing the personal connection she had forged with the Filipina. But King wasn't just praising Eala's character, she was recognizing a kindred spirit. A young woman who, like King herself, was using tennis as a vehicle for something far greater than winning matches. The parallels between the two are striking. King, at 82, is the most influential figure in women's tennis history. A woman who founded the WTA fought for equal prize money at the U.S. Open and defeated Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes in a match that changed how the world viewed women's sports. She was the first individual female athlete to receive the Congressional Gold Medal and has been inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame and the National Women's Hall of Fame. Eala, at 21, is the most influential figure in Philippine tennis history. The first Filipina to win a WTA singles title, the first to crack the top 20, and a symbol of hope for a nation of 127 million people. She has become a movement, a phenomenon that has inspired millions of new fans to discover the sport. "It's so big for the Philippines," King said of Eala's impact. "I am so happy for her and the country. I have never seen anything like it." That recognition from the greatest champion of her generation was more than just praise. It was a confirmation that Eala's journey mattered. King also revealed her hope for the future of Philippine tennis. "I just hope every child, both boys and girls, because they talk about girls, I was thinking, why not boys? I hope they take up the sport. It's the sport of a lifetime. It's also the healthiest sport in the world. So why not?" Eala, for her part, understands the weight of what King has done for her sport. She paved the way for many. She did so much for women and for equality. Eala said, reflecting on their meeting. "So, I respect her so much in that aspect, and the things she has done in my field have been amazing. When Billie Jean King watches Alex Eala, she doesn't just see a tennis player, she sees the future of the sport she helped build. And when Eala looks at King, she sees the pioneer who made her own journey possible. The passing of the torch is not just a moment, it's a mission. The 39-time Grand Slam champion has seen generations of players come and go. She's watched champions rise and fall, dynasties emerge and fade, but when Billie Jean King looks at Alex Eala, she sees something that reminds her of the greats she competed against. And her assessment of the Filipinas game is both technical and deeply personal. During the BBC's Wimbledon coverage, King delivered a detailed breakdown of Ayala's performance against Iga Swiatek, the defending champion. Her words revealed the eye of a champion who had analyzed countless matches over a career that spanned decades. "I've been watching her for a few years now," King said. "Her concentration. Today, she was so poised. That poise is what separates Eala from other rising stars." King has watched young players fold under the pressure of center court. She's seen talent crumble when the moment demands more than just skill. But Eala didn't fold. She stepped onto the most hallowed grounds in tennis and defeated the defending champion in straight sets. The victory made her the first Filipino singles player in the Open era to reach the fourth round of Wimbledon. "I have never seen anything like it," King said, referring to the impact Eala has had on Philippine tennis. But King's assessment of Eala goes beyond just the results. She sees the person behind the player. She's so grounded for her age, and she's so thankful. She has such gratitude, already at a young age, King observed. The 82-year-old legend recognized something in Eala that reminded her of herself, a young woman who understands that tennis is about more than just winning matches. When they met after the Swiatek victory, King was struck by Ayala's humility. The Filipina approached her with a simple introduction. "I don't know if you remember me. I'm Alex." It was a moment that revealed the character of a young woman who, despite defeating one of the greatest players in the world, remained grounded and grateful. King also identified the areas where Eala can improve, a sign that she sees unlimited potential. While praising Ayala's concentration and poise, King also shared her hopes for the Filipinas' development. "I hope she works on her serve. She can get more out of it. She's crafty, she's a good lefty, she uses her variety nicely," King had said earlier in the year. "But she needs a bigger serve and bigger kick to really take that next step." That tactical observation carried weight coming from a left-handed player who dominated the sport for over a decade. King, a left-hander herself, understood the advantages and limitations of Ayala's game. She knew exactly what it would take for the Filipina to transform from a top 20 player into a Grand Slam champion. And her advice was both technical and encouraging. A blueprint for greatness from the greatest left-handed player in history. What would you do if the greatest left-handed player in history gave you a tactical blueprint for greatness? For Alex Eala, the answer was clear. She would keep working, keep improving, and keep proving that she was ready to take the next step. Because when Billie Jean King says you have what it takes, you know you're on the right path. When Billie Jean King walked through the doors of SoBi Stadium, she wasn't just attending a tennis match. She was witnessing the future. And the future, she has made clear, looks incredibly Filipina. The 39-time Grand Slam champion had already delivered her verdict on Alex Eala during the BBC's Wimbledon coverage. "I've been watching her for a few years now," King said. "Her concentration. Today, she was so poised. But her arrival in Toronto was something else entirely." A statement that the 82-year-old pioneer, the woman who had changed tennis forever, wanted to see the Eala phenomenon firsthand. The personal connection between the two is undeniable. King revealed that their first meeting after Ayala's Wimbledon victory over Iga Swiatek was built on a shared bond that transcended tennis. "We had a great chat because we both grew up with our brothers," King explained. "I had a younger brother who played 12 years of professional baseball, and she's such close friends with her brother, and that's what it was for me too, so we kind of hit it off there." That bond is rooted in something far deeper than tennis. King has watched generations of champions rise and fall. She's seen talent crumble under pressure and dynasties emerge from unexpected places. But in Eala, she sees something that reminds her of the greats she competed against, and something that could transform tennis in the Philippines forever. "It's something that's just so big for the Philippines," King said. "I am so happy for her and the country. I have never seen anything like it." The legend also revealed her hope for the future. I just hope every child, both boys and girls, because they talk about girls, I was thinking, why not boys? I hope they take up the sport. It's the sport of a lifetime. It's also the healthiest sport in the world. So why not? When Billie Jean King shows up, you don't just play for yourself. You play for everyone who has ever dared to dream. And for Alex Eala, that dream is only just beginning.